So here we are at Steamorama in Windsor, Pennsylvania. It's September, 27th? 2023. And so we just got done setting up the really sweet old canvas marquee tent. We got about a dozen lanterns going on all over the place. And we're wearing Woolrich because it's darn chilly out. So I thought it'd just be kind of cool to do a video with my buddy Mike here, because I often forget that what we do is not normal. We do this all the time. We're probably on the road maybe 100 days of the year, 60 to 100 days of the year, and we're often like sleeping in a canvas tent in the middle of a field doing shows, selling boots and hats and antique vintage style clothing, doing steam shows, looking at these giant steam engines, doing motorcycle rallies where they have 100-year-old Harleys and Indians racing on dirt tracks. What else do we do?
Well, we do the steam engine shows up at East Broadtop, or Orvisonia, way up in the mountains, and
Rough and Tumble.
Rough and Tumble. That's another steam show where they have the farm equipment from the 1880s and 90s, and for the 1920s, all the steam-powered engines that farm the fields.
Yeah, we end at reenactments. We do rendezvous, like the old buckskinning events, Civil War events, turn of the century events. We vend
1870s cowboy reenactment.
Yeah, we vend at shows like that. We do vending at World War I events. So we're traveling all over the place to all these different historical time periods and selling historical clothing out of an historical tent for most of our working days, which is pretty crazy. And like I said, honestly, by the time you get done doing this in a year, you forget that this is not normal. It's like, and then like we'll be in this tent for 4 or 5 days here at Steamorama, for not 5 days, but 4 days here at Steamorama, and you're around all this old stuff, like old boxes, old clothing, old lanterns, old tools and things. And then after 4 days of living in the field and getting kind of in touch with the weather and the area that you're in and the birds, and when the sun comes up and goes down, and the dew and the brisk air
and the different people, the different accents,
yeah,
the different food.
And then at the end of it, you swing into a Wawa on the way home to gas up, and you have the craziest culture shock of your life. Holy mackerel. When you see fluorescent lighting again for the first time, it's just, it really reminds me that like the modern way is just not how people should be living. And it's kind of funny. We were at this last show in Arcadia, Upperco, Maryland. And so we have all of our camping stuff here. And so we have cots and like old wool blankets, and we have a little gas-powered cook stove and a coffee percolator, and all of our coffee grounds are in like 1800s vintage glass jars. And like what's crazy is we have like a Stirling engine fan that's powered off of hot air, and I think that's really freaking cool. But the number one thing that people do is they come in, they say, "Oh my God, is that a real coffee maker?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah, it's like, "Are you guys really, it really looks like the real deal." I'm like, "Yeah, it's basically camping." Like, and then they go in and they open up our coffee pot to look at it as if it were like some like interactive museum exhibit. I'm like, "What are you doing?" Looking in our coffee cups and our coffee pots, and like this is, and people seem absolutely freaking baffled by the fact that we actually sleep in the tent and camp out and like do these shows. It's like, oh my God, wow. It's just ridiculous. It's stuff like that really drives home that this is not normal, and I forget it all the time, but I love it. Like we're really living the life of kind of like our ancestors. Back in the 1800s, there'd be a lot of traveling tent shops selling boots, selling hats, clothing, selling saddle stuff, you know,
And
leathers.
settlers from the middle part of the 19th century, and we're living that time period, and you know we live in the 19th century and tolerate the 21st
Yeah,
century.
it's really cool. I'm glad we get to do this stuff because I feel like it's something that, you know, people watch TV and they would probably really be interested in living like this, but I don't know if people would want to do it for a long time. But it is neat to be living the exact lifestyle of people in the 1800s who did this, you know, sleeping in the same style tents, wearing the same clothing, and traveling and selling stuff. So it's pretty darn cool. So I don't know who's gonna find this video interesting. I just thought it was kind of neat as like a little video diary to tell people what we're doing and share some of the experiences of people being blown away by a coffee percolator.
Well, we try to also give people part of that time period in the clothing that we sell. We do the exact replicas of the clothing, and we try to give them a little piece of something that they can take back from the 19th or the early 20th century, whether it's, you know, Reading Standard motorcycle, or Pope motorcycle, or all the old hunting attire that people wore back in the time with the work boots that we do, or the steam engines, or some of the great shore coats and hats that people would have for everyday working attire, you know, back in the late 19th century. And if we can give a little bit of that back to the public, I think I've really succeeded in sharing my passion with other people.
I think it's really cool because, like, it's not that we're just traveling merchants. It's like we're doing living history and historical education and almost like a little mini traveling museum with a gift shop, kind of.
Yeah.
It's because, like, we really are using old stuff. Like I said, the cups we're using, the things that hold our coffee and our food, like, they really are 100-year-old or more items that we're using. You know, a lot of the clothing we wear is almost 100 years old. So it's really crazy. And, you know, we'll be here at Steam-O-Rama for the rest of this run, and I'll be picking banjo, singing 100-year-old songs on a 100-year-old banjo, drinking coffee out of a 100-year-old cup, wearing 100-year-old clothing, and telling people what life was like back then. And when you see all these really cool steam engines going around that are 100 years old, it really does, in my opinion, help bring it to life when the people are wearing the clothing that belong to that era. It really does feel like a tintype came to life and the people just rolled out of it on their steam engine. And I just like doing that because a lot of things, in my opinion, in the old world were done really well, sometimes done better than today. Just ways of doing things, some ways of thinking, some ways of problem solving, and it really does help to have this kind of thing around to preserve it. And so that's why we do it. So
I think once you start wearing the clothing and you realize how much better it fits and how much better it performs in the time period for the environment, it makes a lot of sense for the 21st century, where we seem to be always into the let's keep it for a year and throw it in the trash and start again. You know, the pride of owning a garment or a pair of work boots or a work jacket is, you know, you have a lot of pride every time you put that on, and you keep it for, you know, the next, you know, 20, 25 years.
Or have something worth handing down.
True.
Something worth having your kids fight over when you're dead.
Yeah. Oh, well, I got some of their stuff right now I'm wearing.
Yeah. So that's what we do, and I just really wanted to talk about the fact that I just had one of those moments after doing this for years with my buddy Mike, realizing that, oh my God, holy shit, this is not normal. This is really cool. This is not what normal people do.
Well, welcome to our life.
Yeah.
We're sharing it with you tonight.
Yeah, so like I said, we are at Steam-O-Rama in Windsor, PA. This is our first time at this show. And it's what is it? It's Wednesday night, so we're gonna be here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a little bit of Sunday. I won't be here Sunday. I gotta go play a concert on Sunday. But Mike will be here, and I know he's gonna need somebody to help him take down the ridgepole. So if
Come on, join in.
somebody strong and strapping wants to help him take the ridgepole down, that'd be pretty cool on Sunday. So anyway, so swing on by, guys. We'd love to see you. I'd love to play some old music and tell you about some of this historic stuff, and I'm sure Mike would too. So
Cool.
we'll see you around, guys.
Join our century.
Yeah, come on back with us. Take care.